Hello, everybody. I am Dee Collins with Success Creation Academy, Inc., and I am going to be your host tonight for this self-publishing webinar where I show people how to self-publish in 60 days or less with global distribution. I teach an online course called the Ultimate Book Publishing Blueprint, but tonight, just during this free webinar, you're going to learn pretty much everything you need to know to be able to self-publish your book. And then I will extend an invitation later if you would like to work with me further, if you need additional support or coaching. But right now, I'm going to go ahead and switch over. I'm going to share my screen so that you can see the slideshow and follow along during the teaching. You're probably going to want to grab a pen and paper possibly, or open a text, a notebook document so that you can take notes if you want. However, you don't have to be too concerned about doing that because I will make the replay of the webinar available to you, and I will also send you a copy of the slides that I use in the webinar. Okay, so here we go. I will not be able to really pay attention to the chat box while I'm teaching because I have so much information to get to you. But what I would like for you to do right now is if you are on and you can see my screen, you should see where it says free self-publishing webinar. Would you please just type yes in the chat box so I can make sure that you are seeing this screen as I continue on with the presentation. All right, great, perfect. Now we're ready to get started. There's going to be other people that I know that are going to be attending. They're going to be jumping on during the course of the webinar. So just pay attention. Don't let that distract you. And here we go. Free self-publishing webinar. So first of all, I would like to welcome you to this webinar. Thank you so much for taking some time this evening to come out and share with me. You're going to get 3 free gifts if you stay to the end of the webinar. And I really love to give away free stuff. So if at all possible, please stay until the end. And the 3 gifts that you get for staying is you will get my presentation slides that I'm going to be using during the webinar. You will get a free book mind mapping template that will help you get started with your publishing project. And you will also get a free 30-minute publishing consultation with me. That's one-on-one, private, just you and I on the phone, and we'll be talking about your publishing goals, and I will help coach you. So in addition to the 3 free gifts, I'm also going to offer 4 bonus resources at the end of the webinar. And these 3 bonuses, these 4 bonuses, are resources that will help you publish your book now, even if you don't take my course. If you get these free resources that I give you, or these 4 bonuses, you'll be able to publish on your own if you choose to do that. So first of all, the question is this the right webinar for you? This is the right webinar for you if you want to publish your first book or second or third book, if you want help overcoming publishing obstacles, if you want to become a best-selling author, if that's one of your aspirations, if you would like a step-by-step process for publishing success, and if you want a coach who genuinely cares about you, that would be me. And this webinar is also for you if you know it is time to publish your message, your story, etc., whatever it is that you have a desire to publish. If these things describe you, if any one of these describe you, then you are on the right webinar. Now, this will be a great session if you understand that it's important for you to participate. So during the webinar, I might ask you to type something in the chat. Even though I may not always be able to look at the chat, sometimes I will pause for a moment, take a time to look at it, especially if I ask you to type something in the chat. But please, participation is very important. Please put away all distractions and stay engaged. There's going to be a ton of information, and I hope that it's going to be an extreme blessing to you. It's going to be a useful tool for you, but you want to put away distractions. You know, this is not the time to check, your Facebook messages or to be texting or check email. try to wait until after the webinar to do that, please. Be prepared to receive a ton of information. I am not always, like I said, going to be able to check the chat box. And if you do have a question that comes up during the course of the presentation, because I have so much information to deliver to you, I'm going to ask that you just jot your question down. And if at all possible, hold it to the end, because we're going to have an entire Q&A session where you will be able to ask me those questions or additional questions that come up. And sometimes when you have a question, it might be actually answered during the course of the webinar. You get your special free gifts at the end if you stay till the end. So I will do my best to move through all this information, even though it's so much information. I will do my best to move through it as quickly as possible. And I will also make an invitation at the end of the call. And those are only for people who, after you went through this entire webinar, if you decide that you would like to work with me further, or would like additional coaching and instruction, if you want me to hold your hand a little bit and really, really help you with your publishing, I will make that invitation at the end as well. So if we're all agreed to this and everybody is in, I want you to go ahead and type in the chat box, I'm in, or yes, either way, whatever is easiest. So here's an overview of what I'm going to cover in this presentation today. I'm going to give you information about who I am, just so that you know who you're dealing with, and the steps to successfully self-publish your book. I'm going to cover overcoming publishing challenges, frustrations, and fears. I'm going to show you how to publish a book even when you're super busy and you feel like you don't have the time to publish. And I'm going to give you detailed information on exactly how to self-publish and what are the best ways to become a best-selling author. I'm going to share all of these things on the presentation with you today. Okay, so about me, my name is Deneene Collins, but pretty much everybody calls me Dee, so you guys can call me Dee also. I am originally from Berea, Ohio, which is a suburb of Cleveland, Ohio. I was born and raised there. Now I currently live in Tucson, Arizona. I also lived in Houston, Texas for a long time. So Houston is where I consider one of my homes as well. I have two amazing children. One of my daughters, I only have one daughter, but my daughter lives in Houston and my son lives in Tucson. I love to travel. So if anyone on this webinar is actually connected to me on social media, you know that I love to travel and I'm always somewhere doing something, taking pictures and sharing my travels with you. I also love to write. Hello, I'm an author. And I love to cook. So some of you also on social media might have seen my live cooking show that I do sometimes called Delicious. And that's where I share my love of cooking and my recipes and all of the yummy things that I make in my kitchen. And I am a poet and a scholar and an active world changer. A little bit more about me is that I'm a 3-time Amazon #1 best-selling author. I am a 2020 columnist for Marketing, Media, and Money magazine with over 77,000 readers. And I'm an international and inspirational speaker and business coach. I am also the creator of the Ultimate Book Publishing Blueprint online course. So things that I've done to improve myself is I've invested over $12,000, if not more, in myself for trainings and coachings. I've attended multiple trainings, online, live trainings, in-person trainings, and I have hired multiple mentors and coaches just to make sure that I can be at the top of my game so that I can help other people be at the top of theirs. Why should you publish? You should publish because you have a story to tell or a message to get out. You can help others with what you publish. And if you want to establish credibility in your industry or become the go-to authority in your niche, publishing is a great way to do that. And that's the reason to publish. Another reason why you should publish is so that you can expand your business if you want to publish in that area, or create an additional passive income. Because actually through publishing, no matter what type of book you publish, whether it is a fantasy novel, science fiction, an autobiography, an inspirational book, a business book, a children's book, no matter a cookbook, a picture book, no matter what type of book you publish, you can actually use that to create additional passive income for yourself through book royalties. So that's a great reason, and it's a reason why a lot of people publish. If you love to entertain and enrich the lives of others, that's a great reason to publish. And if you just love it, if you know it is what you are meant to do, if you're a writer, if you want to share what's on the inside of you, all of these reasons are why you should publish. Now, have you ever said something like this? I have no idea how to publish a book or get it on Amazon, or I don't even know what my book would be about. Like, some people have books that they have started writing. People have books that they've written years ago and never did anything with. They never published them. And then there are other people that say, I think I want to publish a book, but I have no idea what that book would be about. I have no idea how to go about writing it, putting it together. I have no idea about the process. Have you ever said, do I really have something to say that people will want to read? People wonder that. And what if I publish a book and nobody buys it? Am I way too busy to write and publish a book? A lot of us have jobs and businesses and families and organizations that we belong to and responsibilities. So a lot of people wonder, am I just too busy? I feel like I'm too busy to publish a book. Or you might have said something like, I'm not sure I can do this, and nobody knows who I am. So why would anybody be interested in what I have to say? Those are all questions I had myself at one time. Thankfully, I don't have those questions anymore. So the 3 myths of self-publishing is what I want to start out sharing with you. The first myth is it costs a lot of money to self-publish. The second myth is self-published books don't sell well. And the third myth is only amateurs self-publish. All myths. Wrong, wrong, wrong. So what I experienced was I was able to self-publish for free the second time around because I knew better and I had more experience. And self-publishing gained me tons of credibility and made me create my course. And I've also received and still get tons of speaking engagements just from being a published author. So it's opened up a lot of doors for me. Now, I want to share with you my personal publishing story because a lot of times people ask me this, especially when I am a guest speaker. And you might have heard this story before, but I've always been a writer since I can remember. This is a picture of me as a little girl sitting there with my legs crossed. I actually remember taking this picture. I don't remember how old I was in this picture, but I remember taking this picture. I even remember the person who took it. His name is Richard Maxey. So this is in the living room in the house I grew up in at 732 Shakespeare Drive in Berea, Ohio. And in this house, we had a basement, and I've always loved to write, and I've always loved books. So I would go downstairs in the basement. My dad had a desk in the basement, and I would go downstairs and sit at that desk, and I would write books, and I would write stories on typing paper, and then I would take construction paper, and I would take my crayons, and I would make covers out of it, and then I would staple them all together, and I had like my own little publishing company when I was just a little girl, and I just loved it. And every time I finished a book, I would take the book to my mom. This is her, Joyce Collins, right there. And I would take my books to her that I made at my dad's desk, and she'd always say, "Oh, this is so wonderful, this is so great." And she would act like she would, flip through the books and read them and compliment me and encourage me. And so, like, my mom was my #1 fan. So as I grew up, I continued to write. I wrote in elementary school, I wrote in high school, and as I became a more seasoned writer, my mom started encouraging me to publish my books. She would say, Dee, your writing is really good. You should definitely publish. And I would say, okay, Mom, I'm going to publish. So then I graduated from high school a year early. So I was only 16 years old when I graduated, and I went away to college. I went to Prairie View A&M for undergrad, PVU. And at college, I was still writing. As a matter of fact, English was one of the courses in college that I excelled in just because I loved to write so much. So when I finally graduated from college, my mom was still there, always putting in my ear, you should publish your book. And I would say, okay, mom, I'm going to publish it. But life just got in the way. Like I had kids, I had jobs, I had, different things that I was doing. And so I never seemed to get around to publishing, even though I kept telling her that I would. And then so one day she got mad at me, and this woman was a super, super sweet woman. So you didn't want to see her mad because it took a lot to get her angry. And one day she just said, you know what, just give me your writing and I'll publish it. And I was like, oh, mom, I was like, chill out. I will publish my books. So time went on, and as you can guess, I still didn't do it, even though I kept telling her I was going to. Things kept getting in the way, and I kept procrastinating. So one day, my mom got a stomach ache that would not go away. We couldn't figure out what was wrong. We kept going back and forth to the hospital. The doctors kept on saying we can't find anything. They kept on saying it's this or it's that. And so it got so bad till one day I said, we're not leaving this hospital until we find out what is wrong. And so they gave her a lot of additional tests. And as it turns out, she was in stage 4 pancreatic cancer, which is one of the hardest types of cancer to diagnose because it mimics a lot of other diseases, especially things dealing with the digestive system. So long story short, 6 months later, she was gone, and I hadn't published anything. As a matter of fact, while I was preparing for this webinar yesterday on February the 16th was the 11-year anniversary of her death. She passed away 11 years ago yesterday at 8:47 a.m. in the morning. So I was destroyed, because she was my best friend. And I kept telling her something that I was going to do, and I kept putting it off, and I never did it. And what that resulted in was my first publishing job, which was writing her obituary. As the writer in the family asked me to write her obituary. And then, so after I did that, I just said, how can I publish? What is the quickest way to me publishing and keeping the word that I gave to my mom? And so I jumped online and I wrote a 5,000 word online article, and it was called Pancreatic Cancer and Living from Diagnosis to Death, the Diary of a Cancer Patient's Daughter. I just wanted to share my story. I just wanted to keep my word. I just wanted to publish something as a writer. I wasn't even thinking, I didn't think anybody would read the article. I put my phone number, my personal cell phone in the article because I just wasn't even thinking this is online, anybody could see it. I just wanted to get it out there. So I put this article out there, didn't think anybody would read it. Well, 30,000 people read the article. And I started getting calls on my cell phone at all times of the day and night from all around the world. People were calling me from all across the United States. They were calling me from the West Indies. They were calling me from the UK. And they were like, oh, thank you so much for your article. Thank you for what you shared with us. Thank you for this advice. Thank you for sharing your story. Can you answer this question for me? My family member is going through this, or I'm going through this myself. Can you tell me, give me some suggestions of things that I should do? And at that moment, I remember that day when my mom got angry with me for not publishing and continuing to put it off, when she said, just give your stuff to me and I'll publish it. And then I realized the reason why she was angry was because she realized that I had something great on the inside of me that could help a lot of people. and that the most selfish thing was keeping that to myself. And I didn't realize it. It took her death, unfortunately, for me to take action on this, but I didn't realize it until I published this article and 30,000 people read the article and people started calling me from all over. And then I realized, you know what? Me being an author is more than my story or my experiences or, whatever I feel like I want to tell. It's bigger than me because there's somebody out there that will not receive something that can help them if you don't publish what you have to say. Even if it's just, like a fantasy fiction story, that can bring somebody joy. It can inspire somebody else. Maybe somebody else wants to be an author and they'll read your story and believe that they can do it also. So it's just so many things that go into writing and publishing and putting your story out there and putting yourself out there. Yes, it takes courage to do it, but it is well worth doing it because somebody needs you. Somebody else can write a story. Someone else could have written an article about pancreatic cancer, but no one else would have written the article exactly the way that I wrote this article. And no one else would have touched the particular people that I touched the way that I touched them. And I still have friends to this day that I'm in contact with, all because I decided to let something that was inside of me, out of me, and make it available to the world. And I value those friendships and relationships. So super powerful. So my first print book, after I did the online article, that was the first thing that I published was the online article. And then I originally got on social media so that I could share my writing because I'm a poet and I love to write poetry. So I just started posting poems online. And so people would read my poetry and make comments and they really loved it. And they started asking me for, where's my book or where can they buy my book? And I was like, well, I don't have a book. And people continue to post in the comments on my poetry, how can I buy your book? And then I thought about it and I started looking at the poems that I had published online to share my writing. And I realized at that point, I had posted 200 poems on Facebook. And then I thought, well, that's a book. So actually, I just copied and pasted all of those poems into a book template. And at that point, I didn't have a clue as to what I was doing, and I didn't know how to publish a book. So even though I went to an online self-publisher, I actually hired them to help me publish the book because I didn't know what I was doing. And really, I paid them $1,100, but all they did was format the book for me, slap the cover on there, upload the document, and publish it. At that time, I didn't know it. I thought I was getting a whole lot, but it didn't even include editing or anything like that. And that was the price that I paid for ignorance because I didn't know what I was doing. So that actually led to me creating my course because I know that there's other authors out there or other people that want to publish, and I don't want them to go through that same experience that I went through, just not knowing when you can know and I can teach you. You know how the saying goes, if you give a man a fish, you feed him for a day, but if you teach him how to fish, you feed him for a lifetime. So with my online course, I'm teaching people how to fish, so to speak. So once you learn the things in my course, not only will you be able to self-publish on your own and know exactly what you need to do for any pieces of it that you're not able to do, you'll be able to help other people as well. So I published this book, Abstract Poetry for Life, and I had a friend of mine that I met online that loved my poetry that actually designed the artwork in the back, that abstract, very colorful artwork back there. And so I published this, and this was my first actually print book. And it was a collection of 200 poems. And so then a few years later, after my mom had passed away, and let me say this, if my mom didn't pass away, I probably wouldn't be here doing this webinar right now. And I would give anything, for her to still be here. However, I know that even bad things can work for your good. And this bad thing in my life is not only working for my good in different ways, but it's working for the good of others because I'm able to share my gifts and my talents and my knowledge and experience. So one day, I told you my mom was my best friend. I talked to her every single day. One day I was missing her so bad, and I just wanted to talk to her, but I couldn't. And I was just like aching on the inside. So like I'm driving down the street and I get this idea. So when I got home, I decided to send her an email. And it was just a really short email, and it just said, Mom, I miss you and I love you, or I love you and I miss you, and I wish I had been a better daughter. And it wasn't that I was a bad daughter. I think I was a pretty good daughter. It's just that when you lose somebody, you always feel like you could have done more, you know? So it was just that little short email, and it was like a release for me. I was like, even though I know she couldn't read it, you know, like maybe somewhere spiritually she knew, you know, she got that message. So anyway, I'm going along in life. About 2 weeks passes by. I'm checking my email and I look at my inbox and there's a response to the email. And like my body froze. Like I was like, how can this even be? And so I opened up the email and it said, I love you and I miss you too. And I just started crying. And then I started thinking, and then I called my dad and I said, hey, Dad, are you still checking Mom's email address? And he was like, no. And I was like, hey, don't be telling me any stories right now because this is serious. And he was like, okay. He said, I just felt like you needed to hear that. And that's when I got the idea for this book, Does Heaven Have a Post Office? Letters to My Dearly Departed Mother. And in the book, I share experiences. I share some poetry. I share some wisdom quotes, original wisdom quotes that I came up with. I write 26 letters to my mom, telling her about the different lessons that she taught me growing up and things that I wish I could tell her since she was gone. And then I opened up the book to other people and I allowed them to submit a letter to share with their dearly departed loved one. And what I found out through that process was so many people that submitted the letters. Some people said that they thought that they had, you know, properly healed or gone through the full grief process. And they found out that they had so many hangups that they still had dealing with the loss of their loved one that wasn't released until they wrote that letter. And so it became like a form of therapy, a form of healing for people, a form of release. And it was just like a book that was open to the global community of people that we all experience this at some point or another in our lives. I also include in the book some the different ways that different cultures and different religions deal with death. And I also interviewed some people who had near-death experiences, and I talked to them on the phone, interviewed them, and shared their stories in the book as well. So this is just another example of how, you know, I just had an idea one day, I decided to do it. It was based on my own personal experience, something that happened in my life, and it ended up touching a lot of people. And so glad that I decided to go ahead and do that. So here's a few testimonials. One of these people might even be on the webinar today. I'm not sure if Heidi was able to make it, but I've been in touch with her recently. But let me just share a few of these testimonials. Now, these are people that haven't gone through my class because I didn't have my class back then, but these are people who contacted me that needed help with their publishing projects. I took them under my wing. I published their books for them. And so here's their stories. So Pastor Willie F. Hughes, he's the pastor of Power and Authority Tabernacle in Grand Prairie, Texas. And this is what he says. He said, I had a vision for several books I wanted to publish, and Dee Collins made that vision come true. She helped me publish 3 books, and I am counting on her expertise to publish my next book, which he has been bothering me about, but I haven't had time to get with him yet because I've just been so busy, you know, traveling the world, speaking and doing a lot of different things. But she gave me great customer service, and she even helped my wife publish her amazing book. So I not only helped Pastor Hughes publish his book, after I helped him publish 3 books, his wife came to me and she was like, hey, I got a book too. So I helped her publish a book also called, I think, The Power and Purpose of Praise. So the next person here is Barbara Marie Barnes. She's the founder of Eyes Evolution, a support group facilitator, speaker, and author. And she says, the first time I saw Deneene Collins online, that I now know as Dee, I knew I needed to connect with her. When I met her for the first time in person, she asked me when I was going to publish my book. So let me just not read like what she says. Let me just tell you the story. So I put out an online press release when I had opened up a small publishing firm. And Barbara contacts me. At this time, she's the facilitator of a homeless women's shelter. And she ordered some of my books, and then she asked me if I would be a speaker for the homeless women. So she calls me on the phone, puts me on speaker. All of the women in the homeless shelter gather together, and I just begin to speak to them and to encourage them. That was my first experience with Barbara. At that time, she was living in Maryland, and I had to take a trip to the Washington, D.C. area to do a technical training project. And while I was there, she was like, I would love to meet you. So her and her husband came and got me. They took me out to dinner. And while we were sitting there at dinner, I just looked at her, and I had read some of her writing online. And I just said, hey, where's your book? And she was like, me? My book? I'm not an author. And I was like, yes, you are. And so when I went back home, I sent her a template, I coached her, I told her what to do, and then she wrote her first book, which was called Pretty Ugly. And it was a book about how to get over low self-esteem. And her book has helped so many people, and she's gone on to speak and encourage people through her true life story. It was like a series of short stories inside of her book, and see, she was changing lives through that. And that's all because my mom pushed me to publish. I actually finally did it one day, and then I started recognizing this or helping other people that came to me. Now, Heidi, that you see over here on the right, when she first came to me, she was already a published author. And she came to me because she wasn't completely happy with her first publishing experience, and she wanted help publishing her second book. So I helped her publish a romance novel called A Trace of Seduction, and I even designed the cover for her, helped her. I published it. We did a paperback copy first. I think we did hardcover in that, and I helped her convert it to an ebook as well. So I recently reconnected with Heidi, even though we've been connected on social media all these years, but she's never had a chance to go through my course. So I'm going to get with her. We're going to do some relaunches of her books and help her hit #1 on Amazon or become a #1 best-selling author. So I'm super excited to work with Heidi. Also, something really, really special that I love about Heidi that I didn't even know until I was well into the project with her is that I think she told me that she is considered legally blind. So she has a vision impairment, and yet she has not let it stop her. She has gone on and got degrees. She's gone to graduate school. She's published books. And so I know that, I don't know if Heidi is on right now. I'll see a little bit later. We'll bring her on during Q&A so she can say something if she's here today. But I know that if she were able to speak up right now, she would say, if I can do it, so can you. And she recommends me. So, hey, these were some wonderful people that I got to work with in my last online course. And I do this for my students because I know that all of them are super amazing. All of them will become best-selling authors because I'm going to show them step by step exactly how to do that. A lot of them are currently working on their projects. I actually left Jonathan Bengal on here, the CEO of JB Financial. He never had time to actually come to the course, but just recently hired me as his publicist and his ghostwriter. So I'm going to be working with him on a completely different publishing and coaching program that I offer to select individuals that need that specialization when it comes to publishing. I think Toni Kaufman might be on. I'm not sure if she's here or not, but if you are, we'll hear from you a little bit later too, Toni. That's my amiga, mi hermana. That's my sister, my business associate. and she is a multi-time Amazon #1 best-selling author as well, and she's continuing to do publishing projects, and we're working on some projects together. I think that might be her in the chat. I think I saw Dean here that also works with Tony and knows Tony, but I just wanted to share with you, it's just regular everyday people, and we're all here to tell our story and to get our published works in the world. But how do you do that? That's what you're on the webinar to find out. So let me get going so I can share this information with you. Now, if I hadn't gone through what I went through, I would have never published these books. So the first book, Rain in the Wind, a collection of art and poetry, I actually published this, I co-authored this with Dhanaraj Kizara. He is an Indian artist and teacher who lives in India. I have never spoken to him on the phone. I don't know what his voice sounds like. I have never met him in person. We were Facebook friends, connected by a mutual Facebook friend. I loved his art. He loved my writing and my poetry. So one day I just said, hey, Dhanaraj, I sent my message through Facebook Messenger. I don't even think it was called Messenger at that time, but whatever the messaging thing was. And I said, why don't you send me everything that you have on rain and nature, because I really love rain and nature, through your art collections. And I'll put some writing together, some poetic writing and inspirational pieces to go along with it. So he just emailed me a bunch of pictures from his collection. These two pictures are two separate pictures on the cover that you see. Both of these are from one of his collections, I believe it's called I Shall Die in a Heavy Rain. You know that they have the monsoons in India. They also have the monsoons in southern Arizona, where I live. And he just sent it to me, and I wrote all of these different inspirational and poetic pieces, comparing the different storms in life to the different emotional storms that we experience as human beings on this planet. And then I published this book with someone who lives halfway around the world that I have never met, and that is the power of technology. And if I can do that, you can publish your book, and I'm going to show you exactly how to do that in just a minute. This also, up until last year, all of my books were like poetry books and inspirational books. I started writing a few cookbooks that I haven't finished yet, and I've written some fantasy fiction books. Like I wrote a book called my son was the inspiration for it because he's always loved chicken since he was a little boy. So I wrote this book called The Expedition to Save All Chicken, or The Journey to Chickentopia, The Expedition to Save All Chicken. And it's just this crazy, fun fantasy story that I won't get into it now because I have so much more information to cover right now. But anyway, I was writing all different types of books. I didn't write my first business book until last year, and that's it right here. It's called Muscle Memory Millionaire, The Hidden Secret to Automating Your Success. And this book in July of 2019 hit #1 on the Amazon bestsellers list in 3 categories. And it was in business mentoring and coaching, starting a business, and I can't remember business mentoring and coaching, starting a business, and I forget the other one. But anyway, you'll find out later if you stay connected with me. So anyway, super, super excited. This was my first #1 bestseller because I didn't know, even though I had figured out how to publish before, I had no idea how to make my book a bestseller. So like I was continuing to learn, super excited. The premise behind this book is it talks about muscle memory. We all know what muscle memory is. Basically, you've done something so many times that you just automatically do it. It's like, have you ever driven home and you didn't even really remember the ride home, but it's just like your body automatically knew where to turn the car and just kind of automatically got there? That's like muscle memory. And so surgeons are very familiar with muscle memory because when a surgeon does a particular surgery so many times, like for instance, if he takes out somebody's appendix and does an appendectomy, like if he does 1,000 appendectomies, he can do one blindfolded because he's done it so many times that his hands automatically know where to go, and that's called muscle memory. So what I've done with this book is I took the concept of muscle memory and applied it to business principles and success, knowing that if you can create the habits and practice certain habits every single day, that you will automatically begin to do those things that create success, and it will automate your success. So I haven't hit millionaire status yet. I am on my way, so keep an eye out for that. But what I did do is I gathered together 7 millionaires and I interviewed them and profiled them in the book as well. So in addition to the information that I give you and the different principles and exercises and teaching that I do in the book, you get to read the story of 7 people, their own personal stories, their own personal advice to help you. And so that's super exciting. And that's something that you can do as an author as well. Like, you don't always have to write, all of, the content just from something that you create out of your mind. You can actually have a book where you interview people, you gather their stories together and put a collection of stories together. Like, I'm also a contributor in a book called The Game Changer Volume 4, and it's like a collection. I don't know how many people are in that book. I think like 26 authors, but we all became #1, Amazon bestselling authors because that book hit #1. We were all contributors, so we're like co-authors of that book. So you can do so many different things, so many different types of publishing projects, but let me get going because we're running out of time. Okay, so honestly, I almost gave up, but instead I jumped. So yes, I did jump out of a plane at 14,000 feet. This isn't an actual picture of it happening because I don't know what I was thinking, but I didn't hire the photographer that day when I jumped out of that plane in Houston, Texas. I was like, oh, I don't need pictures of that. And then afterwards, I was like, I totally should have got pictures of that. But anyway, so after I did this, a friend of mine just took one of my pictures and photoshopped it into this person that's skydiving. And so I jumped out of the plane. Well, let me tell you this, and if you've never seen the inspirational talk that when Steve Harvey talks about jumping, Google that, look that up on YouTube and listen to it because it will definitely inspire you. But let me tell you what happened. I invited people to come with me. They were like, no, there is no way. And then I can't tell you how many people told me, why jump out of a perfectly good plane? And so I went with my daughter. And when I did this experience, what I did was, because it can be scary and it can be intimidating, but if you allow fear, it will prevent you from doing some things that can absolutely change your life. And I think that, writing a book may not be the same as jumping out of a plane, but it is, because you're jumping. You're sharing what you have on the inside with others. You might have fear of rejection or fear of failure, or I don't even know, like all types of fears come. But what I did was I didn't think about the fact that I was jumping out of a plane until I got to the opening of the plane, and it was too late to turn back, because they give you a time to say, okay, you can turn back now, you can turn back now. You have to sign like your name 1,000 times saying that I know I can die doing this. And I just didn't think about it. I just kept pushing forward. I kept going forward. I got up there, jumped out of the plane with a tandem instructor connected to me. And the first 60 seconds was free fall. I couldn't breathe. Do you know what it feels like not to be able to breathe for a solid minute when you didn't know that you weren't going to be able to breathe? And so this is the experience of jumping. That's what you may experience when you decide to jump and go ahead and publish your book. But you know what? I had one saving grace with me. I couldn't talk to my tandem instructor because I couldn't breathe. For those first 60 seconds, I must have fell like 9,000 feet in like 60 seconds. But I was connected to somebody who knew what they were doing. And that is the power of mentorship. That is the power of coaching. He helped me pull the cord at 6,000 feet. And the minute that cord was pulled, the canopy came out and it instantaneously transitioned to a peaceful float. And I was able to enjoy the scenery beneath me. I could steer the canopy and make turns in the air. And then when it came time to land, the tandem instructor, who could now talk to me at that point since we were on a peaceful float, he said, just put your legs straight out in front of you. And I just glided just right in for a smooth landing. And so I tell the story because the first time I published, it was like jumping out of a plane with no tandem instructor connected to me, and I feel like I just splat it. But at least I did it. But anyway, I said all that to say this, that if you decide that you want to work with me, I'm going to help you pull the cord. It may be scary to jump, but I'm going to help you enjoy the scenery of what it's like to be a published author. I'm going to hold your hand. I'm going to help you be successful. I'm going to be connected to you every step of the way, and I'm going to help you come in for a smooth landing. Okay, people, I almost gave up. I am human. I still have times, this past week, I wanted to give up, but I almost gave up. And what kept me from giving up one day was I thought about Steven Spielberg. You see a picture of him right here. He was rejected from film school 3 times, but went on to become one of the greatest filmmakers who has ever lived. Michael Jordan got cut from his high school basketball team, but he is legendary. He is iconic. There's a whole bunch of people walking around wearing Jordans today. And then Colonel Sanders, his story really encouraged me because I didn't find out until probably about a year or 2 ago that Colonel Sanders was going to commit suicide when he was 65 years old. He had had a failed marriage. He had failed in his career. He was broke, and he was going to kill himself at 65 years old. Just let me know, it's not too late, because this man who was going to kill himself at 65 years of age died a billionaire, with a B, billionaire, not millionaire. He died a billionaire, and he didn't even get started till after 65. So just be encouraged, no matter how old or young you are. It's never too late to publish your book. It's never too late to be successful. It's never too late to become a best-selling author. It's never too late to touch the world with your message. And then I have this picture of Babe Ruth over here, because I always talk about him in just about every talk that I do, because Babe Ruth was known as the home run king, the great Bambino. But a lot of people don't know that he was also held the record as the strikeout king. And this encouraged me because it let me know that you got to be willing to swing more than anyone else to knock it out of the park in your niche, to knock it out of the park as an author, to knock it out of the park and whatever you decide to stand up and do in life. Okay? So here we go. So this is just a picture of when my book hit #1 on Amazon. You can see it's in the #1 spot right there. This was in business mentoring and coaching, and you can actually pre-release your book when you publish through Amazon Kindle Direct Publishing. You can release your book for pre-sale before the actual book is even available to people. And I hit #1 before my book was even out. So let me tell you something right now. This is something that you're gonna wanna remember, especially if you're gonna go ahead and publish your ebook. I do recommend that you publish your ebook first. You don't have to do it that way. I published a print book first when I first started my publishing career, but I found easier ways. So you can publish your ebook first, and then you can convert it to a paperback book. And that's actually the process that I recommend, but you don't have to do it that way. And in the course, I show you how to do it both ways. However you want to start out doing it, that's what I work with you to do. But on the pre-release in Amazon, up until probably about 7 or 8 months ago, if you set a pre-release date or a launch date or a release date for your book on Amazon, and then the book wasn't done and you needed more time, and then you change the launch date, they would ban you from being able to release a book as a pre-sale book for an entire year. I mean, you can still publish your other books, but they had to be ready and available right then when you publish them. So Amazon has since changed their policy about 8 months ago. They allow you to change the date, to postpone the date 1 time. And then if you postpone it one time, you have to meet that deadline. If you miss that second deadline, then you're banned for a year. Ask me how I know. So anyway, so you can learn from my experience. I always tell everybody the best way to make it successfully through a minefield is to walk in the footsteps of someone who has crossed through the minefield. I have definitely stepped through the minefield of publishing, and you can walk in my footsteps and not get blown up. Okay, so I just want to share this quote with you. Edward Teller, he was a Hungarian-American nuclear physicist that helped create the first atomic bomb. I just spoke this quote to a large congregation of people yesterday, but it just encouraged me. He says, when you come to the end of all the light you know, and it's time to step into the darkness of the unknown, faith is knowing that one of two things shall happen. Either you will be given something solid to stand on in the darkness, or you will be taught how to fly. Don't be scared. This is your time to publish. But stay tuned, because I got a lot more to tell you. Now your training begins now. You're like, oh, I thought I was in the training. I did share a little bit of training with you, but now I'm going to give you some practical information for self-publishing. I'm going to give you information directly from my publishing course, what I teach my students, and I'm going to give you an action plan for you and the next steps that you're going to need to take to go ahead and become a published author, or if you've already published, to publish your next book, or to become a bestseller, or to publish more books. So I'm just stopping real quick to do a quick checkpoint, because I've said a lot of things so far. I just want to make sure, are you still with me? Are you listening? Are you paying attention? Are you there? Type yes in the chat box if you're excited and you're ready to get the rest of the information on how to self-publish your book. Go ahead and put yes in the chat box. Thank you, thank you, thank you. Let me go here and see, let me see who's still awake over here. Okay, all right, hey, hermana. So Tony's here, absolutely. Michelle's excited. James is here, he's ready. Hello from Dean. Hey, what's going on, Dean? Is anybody else out there that wants to say something real quick before I get back into it? I gotta go get back to it, okay. So here we go. Ready, set, go. Okay, what is your dream or impact you want to make on the world? This is what you want to ask yourself when you get ready to publish. Do you want to inform and teach people? Do you want to influence and transform people? Do you want to entertain and impact people? Do you want to be a world changer? What do you want to do? Go ahead and also type in the chat what you want to do as a publisher, or by publishing your book. What do you want to accomplish? Do you have a business book? Or what type of book do you want to publish? Do you have a children's book, a picture book, a cookbook, a novel, fantasy, nonfiction? Go ahead and type, if you know what type of book you want to publish or interested in publishing, go ahead. There is a tremendous market. Let me just take a second to say this. In children's books, it's an incredible market. It's easy to do. Parents are buying ebooks for their children now in this age of technology that we live in. It can be extremely lucrative. And I wrote one about a month ago, or maybe a couple months ago, and within a couple of hours. I don't even know if it took me a couple of hours, because depending on the age group you're writing for, you don't need a whole lot of words, and then you can just find yourself an illustrator, and you can actually hire an illustrator, if you can't draw, or you don't know, or you don't have somebody in the family to do it. And I'm going to actually drop a nugget right here, even though we're not at the end of the webinar. For anybody who's interested in doing children's books or something very simplistic with illustrations, this is like top secret stuff. And you can actually take regular pictures, either that you can get from free, royalty free. You want to make sure that any pictures that you use from online, that you're not just Googling pictures, because a lot of those pictures are copyright protected. And if you use those pictures, they can take you down for copyright infringement. So whenever you're using pictures online, you want to make sure that you're using a website that either allows free, royalty-free pictures, or where you can purchase a license to have commercial use of those pictures. So, but you can do that. So you can get regular pictures. Here's my tip for people who want illustrations in an easy way. If you can find a picture online that depicts the illustration that you want, then you just get a hold of that picture, whether it's free or whether you purchase the license for it. And then you go online and Google cartoon yourself or cartoon a picture. And there are some free sites online that you can actually just take a regular picture, upload the picture to that site, and it will convert it into an illustration, like an illustration graphic or a cartoon, and you can actually use those for illustrations in your children's book or some other type of book that you want to use an illustration for. Just one of my, kind of like little tips that I've come up with along the way. So how can you publish, how can publishing your book impact your personal life? It can impact you in so many different ways. It can give you a sense of achievement. It can increase your confidence. It can impact your family. It can make your family proud of you, or it can make you an example for your family, a role model, not only to your family, to your friends, to other people. It can also create freedom by opening up more opportunities for you. You can get speaking engagements. Like I said earlier, it increases your credibility. If you do create a passive income from book royalties, it can create time freedom and financial freedom. So this is how publishing a book can impact your life. And what would achieving your dream results or publishing your book allow you to do that you currently can't? Like if you just published your book, you had your dream results, you became a #1 best-selling author, not only on Amazon, say you went on to be on the New York Times bestseller list or some other bestseller list, and you were traveling the country, you had speaking engagements, and you had a passive income from book royalties, and you just became well-known. What would that do? Like, what would your dream results? How would that change your life? Would it give you more? Would it allow you to live better? You don't have to live in a mansion, but maybe you might be able to live in your dream home, or even a nicer home, something you're comfortable with. You'll be able to maybe help send your kids to college, have status and respect, just be a blessing to other people. I love giving to charity. I love to be able to help someone that I can't help. I've had so many times in my life where, just been getting by barely financially. It feels good that sometimes when you end up getting an extra royalty check that you weren't even expecting, you're like, oh, well, I have the money to do this now, or I can travel now, or I can go this place. I just got back. Tony was actually on the marketers cruise with me. I just went in January on an 8-day cruise sailing out of Miami we went to Curacao, we went to Half Moon Cay in the Bahamas. We went to, where else did we go? We went to Aruba and the Grand Turk Islands. Man, talk about soft sand, that's soft as flour, laying out on the beach. And, I bought this ring. I don't know if you guys can see it. I bought this ring in Grand Turk, $10. But anyway, it was just a wonderful experience. I got to meet with all these different marketers and things like that. And so, if I had never launched out into book publishing, I never would have had that experience. But it was a wonderful experience. But I want you to have some wonderful experiences as well. So how would achieving this goal or dream make you feel? Go ahead and type in the chat box how achieving the goal and dream of becoming a published author or becoming a best-selling author would make you feel. Would it make you happy? Would it fulfill you in some way because you know that that's your purpose? Would it make you feel motivated, empowered, and determined? Right here on the screen is a picture of me with Steve Olsher. I'm holding his book. You can't see the whole thing in this picture, but this book is called What is Your What? And Steve Olsher is a phenomenal businessman. And he is the host of Reinvention Radio. He has these wonderful events on podcasts. I actually listened to a training from this man, And he showed me a step-by-step system on how you can work 2 hours a week and make six figures doing podcasts. Absolutely incredible. But anyway, yeah, he's kind of a business genius. And this is actually the first time that I met him. And when I met him at, I believe I was at Jay Facette's event called Mastermind to Millions in Phoenix, Arizona, which Tony Kaufman invited me to. But I was at this event and he had his son at the event with him. And so Steve gives away his book for free. So if you want to get a free copy of his book, it's at whatisyourwhat.com. You just go to whatisyourwhat.com and you can get a free download of his book that I'm holding in my hand. But his son comes up to me. So you can get the free download of the book, the ebook, but he also offers you, once you get the free download, if you want an actual hard copy of the book, that you can just pay shipping $7 and then you get the book shipped to you. And that's if you're getting it online. But I'm at the event with him. And so his son comes up to me before I got a chance to talk to Steve. And his son says, hey, he's like, you can get my dad's book for free online or probably pay just about $7 or $8. He said, but if you buy the book right now for $20, my dad will sign the book and take a picture with you. I was like, okay, kid, give me the book. So I bought Steve's book. I have it up in my office right now, but that's not even the most amazing part of the story. The most amazing part of the story is, so, okay, I posted this June 4th of 2018. Within 6 months, this gentleman who met me here for the very first time, and I'm holding his book in my hand, decided that he would be one of the 7 millionaires that I profiled in my book, Muscle Memory Millionaire. So he, just because I was a published author, just because I put myself out there, because I publish works, because I share what I have with the world, because I move forward and I do it in spite of everything else, these are the incredible type of relationships. He hosts an event, I don't know, like he tops off the event. I think he doesn't allow more than 250 or 300 people to come to this event, but the tickets are like $3,000 per person, and the event is always sold out before, like way in advance of the event. Like, so if you want to go to his event, you have to not only pay $3,000 for your ticket, but it's sold out, so you better buy it quick. But this is the kind of incredible experiences that you can have when you decide to move forward as a published author. So you must put in the work. Station break, station break. If you allow what I'll be sharing with you, ultimately, or if you follow, what I'll be sharing with you, ultimately, you will achieve the results. But let me be super clear here. If you think that this will be easy and you won't need to put in your work, and you think that this is a get super famous or get rich quick scheme, you are totally on the wrong webinar. So if that's what you think, then you have to get off the webinar now, because this is not the webinar for you. I will say that you have to put in the work, but I do make it a lot easier than it would be doing it on your own. So I'd like to share this quote from Dr. Eric Thomas. He says, the bigger the dream, the harder the grind. The bigger the dream, the harder the grind. There is no magic wand or wishing on a star results. You're gonna have to do some work. Dream results do not come from minimal work. So I'm gonna give you some practical, applicable training today. Type work in the chat if you understand you will have to work. You will have to do some work. You may not have had to work as hard as you would have without knowing me, but you will have to do some work. And if you're willing to do a little bit of work to make this dream come true or to become a published author, type work in the chat. It takes more than 1 hour training to teach you everything I know, but I'm going to do my best to just give you a huge amount. You're looking at this slide and you're saying, what do you mean training begins now? Weren't you already training? Didn't you say that like 10 slides ago? Well, yeah, it starts again now. So it's super self-publishing myth buster, Deneene A calls, that's me. So I would say she's faster than a printing press, more powerful than a double espresso, able to leap tall tales in a single bound, Look on this webinar. It's an author. It's a publisher. It's super self-publishing Mythbuster, Deneene A. That's me. I'm just kind of silly. You got to know me. I like to have fun with it. But anyway, here are the myths that I'm busting. It costs a lot of money to self-publish. Myth. Self-published books don't sell well. Myth. Only amateurs self-publish. Myth. So here are some things that I want to tell you that are the busting these myths. You can self-publish for free. Many well-known authors have self-published. Self-publishing is much faster than traditional publishing, and all you need is basic typing or talking skills. So if you're not a great typer, you can actually talk your book. You can put a record app on your phone or a record app on your computer, and you can speak your book. And you know what I found out? That because of the rate with which we speak, that probably between 1.5 to 4 hours, you can speak an entire book. And then what you do, this is another little nugget training. I use Temi.com, Temi.com, but there's some other sites out there, you can Google it, but they will actually transcribe your audio recording. So you can speak your book if you don't want to write it. You can send it to a site like Temi, Temi.com. You can have them transcribe it, and always select timestamp with the transcription. So they're going to give you a whole written transcript of the audio file that you sent them with timestamps. The reason why I'm telling you to put timestamps on it is because sometimes they might not have been able to clearly pick up a word that you said. So like while you're rewriting the book and editing it and rearranging it to get it ready for publishing, you might come across a word and you're like, what was I saying there? But if it's time-stamped, you can go directly to that point on your recording, fast forward to it, and listen to it so you know what it was you said and quickly and easily correct it. But super easy way to do a book. Okay, has anyone here ever worried about having the money to publish a book? I know I've talked to people in the past who are like, well, how much does it cost to publish a book? I felt the same way and prematurely spent $1,100 once because I didn't know any better. I didn't know how easy it was. And with the technology that's out there, you know, anybody can do this. You can do this for free. You can do it on your own. I figured out how to do it myself, and now I teach others how to do it. And if I could show you how hundreds of thousands, maybe even millions of people have self-published for free, would you like to know? Say yes in the chat box if you want to know how to do it for free. Okay, so these are the two publishing platforms that I have used. The first publishing platform I used was lulu.com, and the second one I used on Amazon is called KDP. It's Kindle Direct Publishing. These are the two I've used. They're both super easy, but there are a couple of differences. So Lulu.com, I love Lulu because Lulu is like just so easy to use. I mean, you basically put your words in a Word document, format it, save it as a PDF and upload it, and you're good to go on Lulu. Also, the great thing about Lulu and with Kindle Direct Publishing is that they will both give you a free ISBN number for your book. Ebooks do not require an ISBN number, but if you're going to do a paperback or a hard copy book, you're going to need an ISBN. And when you're just getting started out, I'm going to show you a little bit later in this training, tell you a little bit more about ISBNs. But when you're just getting started out, the easiest way to do this is just take their free ISBN, but you do need to know this, and I will reiterate this again later. When you use a free ISBN from an online publishing company, you can only publish your book on their platform with the ISBN that they gave you for free. It doesn't mean that your book can only be on their platform. It means you can only publish that particular book connected to that ISBN on their platform, but through your distribution, you can get that same book on other platforms. So this is what I'm really saying. I'm sorry, I'm skipping ahead a little bit, but if you purchase your own ISBN, and you own that ISBN, that means you can publish it on Lulu, you can upload it to Amazon, you can upload it to Barnes and Noble, and individually publish it on all of those sites when you own the ISBN. Now, say I publish on Lulu and I use the free ISBN that they supplied to me. I published on there, super easy to publish on there. They have the templates you can download to type your stuff into. You put in your title, you upload your PDF. They even have, if you don't have a professionally designed cover, they have a cover design tool that you can use. And then they'll take you through where you can write the description of your book, you can set the pricing of your book. And so the way that it works with publishing on demand is that once you get a book, so say that you have a book and your book is 100 pages. So once you get it all into lulu.com, they're going to take you to a page after you've gone through a certain step in the process, and they're going to say, okay, it's going to cost lulu.com $2 to print this book every time we print it. And then we want $1. So that's $3. $2 for them to print it, $1 for the royalty that they want to make off of it. Then they're going to ask you what you want to price your book at. So if you know that you're automatically going to have to pay Lulu $3, which is going to include their publishing of it and their royalty share, then say, okay, well, I want to make, like whatever, $5 off of this book, then you would have to price that book at $8. So once they take their $3, you're left with $5. That's what your royalties are. And that's how you determine that. That's how publishing on demand works. And it works the same way on Amazon as well. So the thing is that if you publish on Lulu, you use their ISBN, this is what you do. This is how the distribution works a little bit differently. Once you go through the whole publishing process, Lulu, if you are publishing a printed book, they are going to require you to order a proof copy of that book. That is so that you can hold the book in your hands and look, is the cover off center or is it printed correctly? Are all the pages the way that I want them to be? Does this book look the way that I want it to look when people purchase it and get it in their hands? That's why they make you order a proof copy. Once you receive the proof copy, if it's the way that you like it, you go on to Lulu and you go into your little section and then you approve the proof copy. Once you approve the proof copy, it will release your book so that the general public can buy it and it's available to everyone. But the great thing is that then you can do distribution through Lulu. So they have a free distribution tool which will, once you order the distribution, they will distribute your book to Amazon, to barnesandnoble.com, to the libraries, to the publishing, directories and databases. And so you can get global distribution through Lulu at no additional charge. And here's where I'm going to tell you what the difference is. People say, well, why would I want to do it any other way if it's that easy? Because you're going to make less royalties. So say Lulu distributes your book to Amazon. First of all, it's going to take 2 to 3 weeks after you've published your book to get it on Amazon when you go through this type of distribution. And then once it gets on Amazon, since you didn't publish with Amazon and your book is just distributed through Amazon, they're going to take an additional royalty, which is going to decrease the amount of royalties that you receive. So people can buy it directly off of lulu.com, or you can order it, you can sell it, you can have it at book signings, you can have it at speaking events. But Amazon is the #1 book retailer in the world. So that's why it's a great thing to have your book on Amazon. I do it both ways. I publish on Lulu, I publish on Amazon. I love both of them. So it just depends on the publishing project, which one I decide to use. Now, when you publish directly on Amazon, you're going to select your distribution during the publishing process. And once you go through that, you'll see when you upload your manuscript and everything, we'll ask you where, what countries you want to sell your book in, how you want to price your book, and so forth and so on. But one thing that I will say about, let me just go back to this real quick. One thing that I will say about Amazon Kindle Direct Publishing, like remember I said with Lulu, you can just type your stuff in a Word document, format it properly in the template, save it as a PDF, upload it, boop, bam, you're done on Lulu. It's just that simple on Lulu, which is why I use Lulu for a lot of projects, especially if I need something done quickly. Not that simple on Amazon, because you can't just upload a PDF and expect it to look like it's going to look in the PDF. And if you do that, you might actually look at your book and say, oh my goodness, what happened? Because the formatting gets all messed up. Because to upload it, you have to have a particular type of document to upload it to the Kindle Direct Publishing. And I found that out the hard way and stayed up for hours and hours. And I know that Tony went through that as well. However, I have hacked the system, and I know the step-by-step process that can make it so easy. It's like soft butter on warm bread. That's how easy it is to spread. So I can show you exactly what to do, and that's what I do with my students in my course. So I take the guesswork out of it, and that is one of the benefits of being in the course with me. Okay, so I tell everybody about this just because this is a source of free publishing. And though I tell people about Publish America, I don't recommend Publish America. I'm just putting this on the webinar to let you know that it is one of your options, because Publish America does publish books for people for free. It's almost kind of like a hybrid publisher. It's more of a traditional publisher. And the only reason why I don't recommend them is that even though they publish your book for free, you do have to sign a contract for them. I mean, to get published with them, you basically send them a sample of your writing, and then they'll get back to you to let you know if they're interested in publishing your project. They publish a lot of people's projects. You do have to sign a contract with them. And one of the reasons why I don't like using them is because it's more like using a traditional publisher, which means your book publishing project can take a really long time, which is what traditional publishing, one of the downfalls for me, because I get an idea, I get a book, I get it done, I want to get it into the hands of the people, and I can do that. And I was going to tell you about this later on the webinar as well, I published a 462-page book in 24 hours once. I can't do that with traditional publishing, because once you get their manuscript, and they're going to go through their editing, they're going to go through their formatting, and it could be 6 months to a year before your book is actually out on the market. So it's more of a traditional type publishing experience with Publish America, but they will do it for you for free, sign a contract, but they don't also really help you with like the marketing of the book. So you're not really, guaranteed that you're going to have a lot of book sales just because somebody published it for you. Has anyone ever worried about publishing a book that doesn't sell? I have felt this way, and I have firsthand experience with it. You can publish the best book in the world, but if nobody knows about it, it won't sell. So self-published books can sell well when published, positioned, and properly marketed. Those are some of the things that I do teach you. And I also want to ask you this. Has anyone ever worried about being unsuccessful with your book project because you are an amateur or you feel you don't have what it takes to publish a book? I think somebody might be saying yes, even though I can't really see the chat right now. But I want to share this with you. The person you are makes you a pro, because you're the only person who is you. Current technology resources levels the playing field for publishing. I mean, literally anybody can publish a book, and you can easily become an authority for whatever type of books you want to publish with the right guidance. Self-publishing isn't just for amateurs anymore. I have orange juice in parentheses. So funny. I didn't realize I put that in there. You know how they used to say, they used to have this slogan that said orange juice isn't just for breakfast anymore. I'm silly like that. But anyway, self-publishing isn't just for amateurs anymore. As a matter of fact, here are some super well-known self-published authors. Inheritance Circle, The Martian, Still Alice. Listen to this, people. 50 Shades of Grey was a self-published book. The Blood Approves and the New World Series. These were all self-published books. So self-published books can be huge. And I also want to ask you this, and I'm trying to move fast because I have so much more information to get to, and I just want to get through everything. We're almost done. And I know that you want to get those free gifts that I have coming to you. But do any of you feel like your book isn't good enough, or you aren't good enough, or you can't publish because you're not ready and you don't even know what your book is about or how to put it together? Well, I have a book, but it's trash. Some people, you know, you might have said this. I don't know what I'm doing, and I don't have good content. I don't even have a book idea or know what to write about. Blah blah blah, whatever. So one person's trash is another person's treasure. Sometimes you may think you're not good enough. I can't tell you how many times I've written something and somebody else has read it and like, oh, that was so bad. I shouldn't even post it out. I shouldn't have put it out there. And people have sent me private messages like thanking me, like I needed that. That was brilliant. That was wonderful. So stop being so critical on yourself and just do it already. Your life stories are great content. Your imagination is endless and unseen to the world. Nobody has seen what is in your mind unless you release it. So you can do this. If you don't have a book idea or know how to write one, I will show you. What is your passion in life? What do you know how to do? What kind of classes have you taken? What kind of jobs have you worked? What kind of hobbies do you have? What do you love to do? And then you just figure out from these different things, and then you mind map your book. So here's the mind mapping process. So what you're going to do is you're going to take, you see in the center here, the bubble in the center, you have your overall book topic or idea. So you put your overall book topic or idea in the very center bubble, or as close to center as you can get. And then you just mind map it by thinking of every topic related to the subject. So I'm going to give you an example. Say the overall topic of my book is dog care, right? And then I would think of every topic related to dog care. I would think about pet food, pet grooming, veterinary care, dog training, making your house livable for your pet, whatever. Anyway, so you get the main topic, then you think of every related topic you can think of that goes with that main topic, and that is called mind mapping. It's a very simple process. You can do it in all the surrounding shapes. So what I do, because I have a mind mapping template that I'm even going to make available to you, it's in a PowerPoint. So what I do is you take like the main topic for your book, and then you transfer it into the template. So you take that main topic, which was like dog care, and then you think of a catchy 3 to 5 word title for your book based on the main topic. How to have a happy dog or something like that. So that is going to be your main topic, is going to become your book title, but it's going to be catchy. It's going to be short. It's not going to be too long, 3 to 5 catchy words. But what you want to do is you want to have a title that grabs attention, because it's one of the first things that people are going to see when they're shopping your book online. You can expound on the title in the subtitle. For example, my book is called Muscle Memory Millionaire. You know it has something to do with money, and you know it has something to do with muscle memory. But Muscle Memory Millionaire, it's a catchy title, but you don't really know what the book is about. So I have the subtitle that says The Hidden Secret to Automating Your Success. And then people say, oh, well, I would like to know a little bit more about that. So you want to have catchy titles, you want to have power words in your title, you want to have words that convey what your book is about, so people are not playing a guessing game and they will further look at your book description, or maybe look inside of your book at your table of contents to decide if they want to purchase your book. Also, my book, another example from Muscle Memory Millionaire, each word of the title starts with the same letter. That's it's a type of poetry, and it's real catchy. So it doesn't have to be like that, but it's just one idea for you. So what you do is you take the main topic of your book, come out with the book title from the topic, and then all of the subtopics that you related to the main topic, all of those are going to become a title of a chapter, all of your related topics. So how to have the happiest dog, and then the right pet food. And then you're going to have subtopics on your pet food. You're going to mind map each chapter, because you might have pet food, you might have natural pet food, homemade pet food, dry pet food, wet pet food, and then you just expound like that. And then before you know it, you have an entire book, but you're going to outline it first. The process that I use, I've used mind mapping, but the way I just have a process that I use, I love to do it. I think the title of my book, And then after I think of the title of my book, I put it into my book template. And then I think of every title of every chapter, and then I put that down. And then I copy all of the chapter titles and paste them so that there's a second set of them. There's one set and there's another set. And then I just start writing under each chapter title. And then a book just blossoms. Okay, so this can help you identify and refine your book project. Why do you want to publish a book? You need to find that out. Who do you want to publish a book for? Who are you writing to? Who's your audience? What do you want your target audience to receive from your book? So are you writing to baby boomers? Are you writing a children's book? Are you writing to children? Are you writing to teens? Are you writing to entrepreneurs, to business people? Are you writing to housewives? Are you writing to whoever you're writing to? Why do you want to publish a book? Know that first. Who do you want to publish a book for? And what do you want your target audience to receive from your book? This is going to help you to define your book publishing project. Are we still okay? If you're okay, type okay in the chat. I got to go because I got to let you guys out of here, and we're almost done. Okay, so the attractive speed of self-publishing. I won't spend a lot of time on this because I already mentioned it, but you can throw the traditional publishing watch out the window. You know why the boy threw the clock out the window? Because he wanted to see time fly. So throw your traditional publishing watch out the window. Your effort is your clock. Whatever you do, how fast or how slow, that's your clock. And you can do, like I said, I did the 462-page book in 24 hours. The way that I did that was I made my reader my co-author. So I put a lot of information on a particular subject in the book, but then I put a lot of pages with lines, like it was a journal, where they could write and respond and keep track of what they were reading and learning in the book, like a journal. And so by making my reader my co-author, I was able to publish this huge book in 24 hours. And guess what, people? I saved the template, which means that I could email somebody that template and they could just go in and change the content for their particular subject, keep everything that I've already perfectly formatted, and you could publish a 460-page book in 24 hours just by doing that. Get out of the matrix mentality. You don't need money to self-publish. You don't have to be established or well-known. You don't have to be tech savvy. You don't have to have all your ducks in a row. You don't have to wait any longer to publish with purpose. The time is now. These are some of the different types of books you can publish. We talked about this earlier, so I won't spend a lot of time on it, but you can do poetry books, cookbooks, inspirational books, informational books, children's books, how-to books, picture books, business books, short stories, novels, biographies. You can do a compilation book. This is actually a technique that I created. This is my own particular framework. I call it the self-publishing pyramid. Every step builds on the step before it. So you're going to start at the bottom. You're going to start with topic identification, audience realization, content creation, format and organization, and then you're going to go to publication, and that M at the top stands for marketing and monetization. So you're going to identify your topic, you're going to realize who your audience is, who you're writing to, then you're going to begin to create your content. When you create your content, you're going to create it in your book publishing template. After that, you're going to edit it. Just write it. Don't worry about editing it as you go. Just write it. Then after that, you can go back and edit it or hire an editor. You're going to format it so that it's going to publish the way that you want it. Then you're actually going to go through the publishing process, which is where you're going to upload it to Lulu or Amazon or whatever platform you decide to use. And then you go through the marketing process so that you can tell people about your book and so that you can monetize your book. The 8 amazing steps to publishing your book. Mind map your book. Translate your mind map into a title and chapters. Put your title and chapters into a book template. Write and or finish your book. Format your book. Edit your book. Design your book cover. And decide on your publishing platform and publish. That easy. There are 3 more things you need to do. These are very important. You need to create your author bio. This is part of your marketing. People want to know who you are. And there's a certain way to create your author bio. You can Google, find some of this stuff out. I go into this in detail in one of my classes because my online course is 8 sessions. So I go into detail about a lot of things that I can't do in an hour and a half to 2 hours on a webinar. Make sure you have a professional headshot. These are just marketing, professional headshot and marketing photo. These are going to go online for your author spotlight or the author description. And on your print book, it's also going to go, and maybe even on your ebooks, it's going to go on your cover, on your printed book, on your cover, on your back cover. And you want to have a nice looking professional headshot. Don't have to spend a ton of money on this. There's lots of these little Photoshops in the mall that you can go and get a very professional looking headshot that you can use for your author photo at the mall. But make sure that if you do go to the mall and get that headshot taken, that you ask them for a photo release, tell them that you're going to be using it to publish on a book cover, and you want to make sure that you have the rights to be able to publish the book because the photographer owns the rights. And the third thing you're going to need to do is establish a launch team and plan your book launch. So all those times in the past where I didn't, hit bestseller status is because I had no book launch plan. And so I teach you how to do a book launch plan, and I share this with you right here in this webinar. So if you publish a book and you publish it without my help, make sure you do a book launch. The way you do that is you establish a launch team. These are people that you get to agree to purchase your book on a particular day at a particular time. So you can ask people, you can ask family and friends, you can ask business associates, you can post on social media and gather a launch team. That's what I did. I created an email list so I could keep in contact, and I used something called a customer relationship management software or an autoresponder like Aweber, like MailChimp or something like this. This is so you can send out mass email without spamming people. And so you can keep in touch with your launch team, give them information, make sure everybody's in the same place at the same time, because what happens is when a whole bunch of people purchase your book all at the same time on Amazon, it's going to shoot you up to #1 bestseller, because Amazon's going to be like, this person is on fire, you're going to be a hot new releases, you're going to be a #1 best-selling author. And when you reach that status, you want to go ahead and take a screenshot, because that's part of your credibility and part of your future marketing and something that you're going to want to use in time to come. So 3 bonus publishing tips. I already talked about purchasing your ISBN. You can do that. I won't spend a lot of time on that. I do want to let you know this, because I studied intellectual property in an electronic environment in my master's program, and I learned there that your intellectual property is protected even if you haven't filed a registered copyright, because anytime you put something in a tangible medium of exchange, so if you put it in a Word document, if you record it, if you write it down, it is automatically copyright protected. However, registering a copyright with the Library of Congress will protect you even further if there becomes a legal battle to better stand up in court. Now, if you haven't registered your copyright and you are protected just because you have put it in a tangible medium of exchange, you will still want to make sure to further protect yourself to put the copyright language on whatever it is. So you want to put the copyright symbol, you want to put the word copyright, you want to put the year that it was copyrighted, and you want to put who copyrighted it, so your name, or if you have a company or something that you use. So you should also establish an online platform for your books. This is not necessary, but I do recommend having a website. There's places where you can do really free, simple one-page websites that are super easy, that have templates, but at least create a professional Facebook page or an author or public figure Facebook page so that you can have people a place to send people to on social media to connect with you as an author. So, my goodness, I'm running out of breath. Okay, so let me be clear. You can do this by just using the information from this webinar. The challenge is there is a lot we haven't even covered and we haven't even been able to touch on. And there are some other things that you need to know, but I'm giving you a lot of information. 911, don't call 911. There is still a lot I haven't covered. Who feels like they've been drinking from a fire hose with all of this information? If you feel like you've been drinking from a fire hose, put 911 in the chat box. Okay, so you still have 3 gifts coming to you, but I have 4 questions. Did you learn something today? Say yes in the chat box, please, if you learned something today. Was this webinar of value to you? Please say yes in the chat box if this webinar had value. Would you like to learn more regarding publishing your book and how to become a best-selling author? Would you like to know that? Yes. Say yes in the chat box if you want that. If I help you achieve the results you want, would you be willing to give me a testimonial? If I help you achieve the results you want as an author, would you be willing to give me a testimonial? Say yes in the chat box if you'd be willing to do that. Now, I'm like a huge fan of all of my students. Whether you're on a free webinar or whether you're in my course, I am a fan of yours. I believe in you. That's why I'm taking the time to be here on a Monday night. I want you to hug the world with your message, with your story and your dreams. And you can absolutely do that. I have so many publishing keys for you that I didn't have time to cover in this brief training, but I still have those free gifts, so hold on just a moment more. I still need to teach you. These are some things I still need to teach you. How to become a best-selling author with your first or next book, how to successfully publish on Amazon Kindle Create in minutes with no hiccups, how to get booked for podcasts and web summit interviews to promote your book, how to properly position the sale of your book during speaking engagements, and how to be a boss author who is the go-to authority in your niche. 3 questions for you. Why did you attend this webinar today? What is holding you back from publishing your book? And how would you like for me to work with you to get your publishing goals accomplished? Just 3 questions I wanted to ask you. Now, would you like to know how to publish your book without paying an arm and a leg? Or to get it published for free? Would you like to get step-by-step instructions on what to do and how to publish your book quickly and easily? Would you like to know how to become a best-selling author and create a passive income from book royalties? Would you like that? Okay. Remember Willie, Barbara, and Heidi? They are the same as you, except they have my support. Same as you, except they have my support. Now, these are my 2 secret weapons. I have these ladies on. If they are available, I have them as guest lecturers during my online course. Becky is one of the owners of Spotlight Publishing. She also has a publishing course. She has done for you products where they actually do the whole publishing process for people with the best-selling book launch. And Kimberly has a company called I'm Hearing Stories, where she will help you convert your book to audiobooks. So I have these ladies on as guest lecturers because I know that it takes a village to publish a book, right? So I just don't just get me. You get people who are in my network that can bring value to you as well. Here's what you get with the Ultimate Book Publishing Blueprint online course. Me, you get me. And this is what you get, 8 live online training sessions to help you publish, profit, and excel in your business and authorship. You get access to a private Facebook group for information, guidance, support, and connection with like-minded professionals to help you excel with your vision. You also get access to recorded training videos and instructional documents. So every class, I teach it live, but I send you the recorded replays so that you can watch them as many times as you want. I give you access to those, and I give you instructional documents. You get free tickets to any future live events that I have, whether they are an in-person event in a particular city or whether they're an online training event. You get the secret book and product launch processes to achieve bestseller status on Amazon and more. And I also make you an affiliate referral partner. I give you that status, allowing you to receive a 50% commission share payout for anyone you personally refer to the course. So like if you refer someone to a course in the future, and I will give you an affiliate link to share the course with them. And if they sign up, I'm going to send you a referral fee saying thank you, because you know what? Pigs get fat, but hogs get slaughtered. So I like to share. A special, I also do a special joint venture profitability online training session, and I give you a ready to go book creation template so that you can just start banging it out and get published quickly. My course shows you how to self-publish in 60 days or less with global distribution. The entire value of my course is $5,600, but of course I don't sell it for that, even though some people do. Do you know that most people that deliver the content that I deliver sell their publishing courses for a minimum of $2,000, upwards of $5,000 to $6,000? Wow. But I'll tell you what I do, even though I don't sell it for that, I do invest in myself so that even if you can't afford to buy a higher level program, I train myself and I continue to improve myself so that I can bring that training to you and give you that additional value, because I invest in myself so that I can invest in you. So the future price of my course is going to be $2,997. I'm thinking of going to that price in 2021. Right now, the current price is $19.97, but for the VIP special, I'm giving it at 50% off. So to everyone who attended the webinar, you can get it for $9.97, and I even have a payment plan for those who can't pay in full. But before you sign up, I'm not even giving you a registration link today. I do have some free gifts that I'm about to give you in a second. But before you sign up, I want to speak with you because I want to make sure personally that this class is right for you, that we are a right fit to work with each other, because my class starts 1 week from tonight. I want to keep the class small so I can give excellent service and maximize the support that I give to my students, because your success is everything to me. So I got to make sure that I can give you the support that you need. And if you want a private call with me before registering for the class, you can book it here. And I will put this in the chat in just a minute, so don't worry. Okay, so what I charge as a coach, personally, as a business coach and a publishing coach, I charge $250 to $400 an hour, depending on the coaching program or what I'm doing with someone. But with the course, the beauty of it, you get me for $83 an hour, because I give you 8 sessions, and each of those sessions is about an hour and a half of training, hands-on training, where I hold your hand and I show you and I encourage you and I support you. So today you get me for free on this webinar and all of this wonderful information I've given you. And here are some other things. I'm about to put these in the chat box as well. But these are 4 bonus resources that you can take these, run away from the webinar with these, and you can publish your little heart out. So it's the link to lulu.com where you can sign up for your account there. This is also the link for KindleDirectPublishing.com where you can sign up for your account there to publish on Amazon. This other tool underneath it is a special tool I love. This is one of my super fancy secrets, and this is a free Amazon book description generator. So when you publish your book on Amazon, it's going to have a place for you to put the description of your book. But if you just type it in, it's just going to look like plain writing, and it's going to be really boring looking, and it's not going to grab anyone's attention. And a lot of people look at the book description to decide if they want to publish the book. So it is a marketing tool. It is a selling tool. You got to use everything. Your cover should be nice, vivid, clean, crisp, background. Your pictures. You don't want to have too much confusion on your cover. You want to have your bold title. You want it to be big enough so that when people are scrolling through Amazon to see what books they want to publish, and all they see is a little thumbnail, that your book will stand out to them. These are all marketing tactics and selling features for your book. But I go into that more in the course. We're really out of time right now. But what you can do with this free Amazon book description generator is you can type in your book description into it, and then you can go back and format it just like you would in Word. Like you can bold some things, you can italicize things, you can underline things, you can change like the font size, and then you just click a button that says generate, and it will automatically generate the HTML code that all you have to do is copy and paste it into the Amazon description, and it will put a fully formatted description for your book on Amazon. And then the last bonus here, DIYbookcovers.com/3D mockups. You can take your book cover that you either designed yourself or had professionally designed, and you can upload it to the site, and it will give you a 3D mockup that you can use on social media or online or through email to actually advertise your book. It will make it look like it's 3D, like on a cover. Actually on a book, they have it where you can drop it into a Kindle reader, so it will look like your book cover's in the Kindle reader, and they just have a lot of neat stuff that you can do with that. I use those tools. My special gift to you, I'm sharing that with you. I share this with my students, but I'm giving it to you today for free on this webinar. Now, the 3 gifts, remember at the beginning I said you get 3 gifts. If you stay until the end, this is important. Don't jump off yet, because I need you to do something to be able to claim your 3 gifts. You get the presentation slides from the presentation today. You get the book mind mapping template for you to use to mind map your own books, and you get a free 30-minute one-on-one publishing consultation with me over the phone. These are your 3 gifts that you get for staying. Now, this is how you claim your gifts. If you want your free gifts, I need you to type your first and last name and your email address into the chat box. That is how I know that you were here. You can select send to me privately if you don't want anyone else on this webinar, since I have it community style here to see your email address, but you must type it in the chat right now to receive your free gifts, and I will be able to deliver it to you through email. So you get your 3 gifts if you, again, type in the chat box right now your first and last name and your email address. Whether you send it to everybody or you just send it to me privately, put that in the chat right now to be able to receive your free gifts. Now I'm getting ready to open up. We only have about 5 minutes for Q&A, but I'm getting ready to do that. So I'm going to unshare my screen. I still feel like I have a million things I want to tell you, but hold on just a minute. So I'm going to stop the share. And if you have questions, you can unmute yourself and just ask the question, or you can type it into the chat box, either way. But we only have a few minutes now. Anybody? Questions, questions, questions?
So, Dee, I probably missed this part of the conversation, but how long will it take us to get a book out?
Well, it depends on what type of book it is, and it depends on how long the book is. So I have like 5 different answers to that question. It can take you can get a book out in a weekend, to tell you the truth. You can actually publish a book in 48 hours. Realistically, the way this course is designed, it is designed for you to self-publish with global distribution in 60 days or less. So within about 8 weeks, some people have more extensive books and they want to take a little bit longer on them. So some people, it may take 3 or 4 months, but really it's up to you, but you can do it in as little as 8 weeks. Oh, I got some things to put in the chat for you guys, so hold on just a second. I have those different links. I have the link for you to schedule a publishing call. Also, if you would like to enroll in the course that starts next Monday, I'm going to ask for you to book your coaching call with me tomorrow. Tomorrow is when I'm meeting with people personally, finding out if they are a fit for the course and enrolling people and getting them set up. So I'm reserving all day tomorrow for people who know for sure that they want to enroll in the course. If you don't know 100% for sure that you want to register for the course, you can still book the free 30-minute call with me. Just do it Wednesday through Sunday. Is that fair enough? Is that okay for me to ask that? And hold on just a second while I grab these links for you real quick. Okay, so I'm getting ready to put a whole bunch of stuff in the chat box. Okay, so I'm just gonna put everything here. Hold on just a minute. For everyone. Okay, so here's what you got. Here's the link for the 30-minute discovery call. You're just gonna have to put a little space between call and HTTPS. Here's the link. If you just want to just register for the course, if you know you want to sign up for it now and you want to get it at 50% off, I did put the registration link in there. I usually like to have a call with you first, so that's fine if you want to have a call with me. Here's the link to lulu.com. You can go get your free account there and start working on a project. Here's the link that you need to start your account on Kindle Direct Publishing. And here is also the link for the Amazon description generator tool that I told you about. So all of those links are there. Thank you guys so much for being here with me and spending so much time on a Monday evening with me. I really hope you got a lot of value out of the webinar. I'm super excited. Also, in addition to wanting the free gifts, if you did not type your name and email address into the chat, but you would like a replay of the webinar, please type your name, email address, and type the word replay so that I will send you a replay. If you've already typed your name and email address in it, you will automatically get the replay. Okay, well, if you guys haven't eaten dinner yet, have a good dinner. Or enjoy your Netflix tonight or whatever else you're going to do this evening. Thank you. Have a groovy night to you too, Dean. Love you, love you, love you, love you, Tony. Thank you for being here. So great to see all of you guys. I hope I provided value. Did I provide value for you guys? Did you learn something? Did you enjoy this webinar? All right. Okay, well, I am over and out. If there are no more questions, thank you so much. And I hope some of you join me in the class. Hold on, I'm gonna put the, I just wanna put that in the chat where you can book the call. This is where you book your call with me. So your one-on-one session. If you wanna enroll in the class, book your call for tomorrow. If you're not sure if you wanna enroll in a class, book your call for some time between Wednesday and Sunday. Thank you, everybody. Have a good night. Happy publishing.